Hello and welcome again to RC Model Reviews. I'm Bruce Simpson, I'm your reviewer, and this is the not so weekly news, which I'll start off with the mailbag section, stuff that has arrived this week. And I ordered some of these. They arrived. These are the Zippy 1100 milliamp lithium iron phosphate batteries, 2 cells, 6.6 volts. And why did I order these? Well, I'm a bit of an old school. I still fly models that have internal combustion engines on them, and those models don't have an ESC, so you've got to power the radio gear with a battery, and these are pretty damn good by the look of them. I've used the Zippy transmitter batteries, the Lifey transmitter batteries. They work really well, and I'm hoping that these will work just as well, but I'll be testing them. And of course, if you buy these, you don't have to stuff around making up an A123 pack, and they're cheap as beans. I couldn't believe how cheap these are. Brilliant. So I've ordered a few. I've got a few of these. I'll test them out. We'll see if they have the capacity, see if they can deliver the current, and if you've got a nitro-powered plane or even a gasser, because gases need batteries too, and they also need batteries for the ignition. This will work very nicely, I hope, as the ignition battery. I've got a A123 pack in my big 50cc here for the ignition pack, and a UBEC. So you need one of these in a UBEC, and you get 5 volts, 1100 milliamps. Brilliant. Ideal solution to that problem. Now, what else did I get in the mailbag? Oh, yeah, I got a whole lot of stuff from FreeSky. Where are we? Stuff like this. Their new telemetry product, version 2 of the telemetry product. And you'll recall I reviewed the FreeSky telemetry dashboard quite some time ago now, and I wasn't very impressed, to be totally honest, which is a bit of a disappointment, because FreeSky makes some really cool stuff, but they hadn't thought this one through. In fact, it was so bad that when I flew my model around and landed it, the dashboard was still saying it was doing 30-something miles an hour 10 seconds after the damn thing had landed. There was so much lag between the actual reading and the display on the telemetry dashboard that it was pretty near useless, to be totally honest. So hopefully they've fixed those problems and it'll be a lot more useful, and I'm going to give it a damn good test because I've got the little dashboard that clips on your transmitter handle, and they sent me the full dashboard again, this one here, with which actually has the transmitter in it. So if you use this one, you don't need a module or a DIY. You just bolt this onto your radio, plug this into the module section, and away you go. It has the transmitter and receiver inside, so that's pretty good. That's a whole solution in a pack. Now, to go with that, of course, you need some two-way receivers. I've already got some, but they've sent me the latest 4-channel two-way receiver, which is a little bit bigger than the old 4-channel, that, you know, the one-way, the park fly type 4-channel receiver. But I've used a prototype of this in my AXN when I'm flying FPV, and I've flown out to quite a distance, and they've got really good long range. So I'm looking forward to testing that one. I've also got the new, what is it, D8R2 Plus. And what's the plus all about? Well, I'll tell you about that too when I review it. They sent me as well a whole bag full of sensors and other gizmos. So I've got the programming leads for programming, because if you went out and bought one of these before, even though I said it wasn't that good, if you went and bought one of these before, you can upgrade it to the new version 2 software, which supposedly fixes a lot of the problems. And so there's a little lead you can buy to do the upgrade. There's a bracket, excuse the noise, there's a bracket for mounting it more firmly on your transmitter than the old system. And then I've got a whole fistful of sensors: current sensor, voltage sensors, G sensor, Vario, GPS, the whole lot. They're all there, they'll all be tested, see how the damn thing works. This time, hopefully it's a whole lot better than it was last time. And I must say also, FreeSky have contacted me. They've got some cool stuff coming up. So if you're already into FreeSky, you'll really love what's coming up in the next 6 to 9 months. It should be quite exciting. And I'm looking forward to it. So that was basically, oh, another thing actually, where am I? Just pull these out here. A little while ago, I invested in some tiny drills. Oh, they're so small, I've lost them. Here they are. I bought some locally. It cost me 20 bucks for a set of little tiny twist drills for drilling really, really small holes, like the fuel jets I have in my pulse jets. HobbyKing have got in these. I spied them the other day and I ordered some to see if they're any good. These are a complete set of tiny little drill bits from, what are they? From 0.2 millimeters. Yeah, 0.2 millimeters. That is really small. That is like really small. I don't know what it is in thou. 1 thou is 40. Well, 1 mil is 40 thou, so you work it out. I'm tired. Goes from 0.2 mils right up to 1.5 mils. So any tiny holes you want to drill, this will do it. But you will need a pin chuck for most of these, because they're too small to grab in a regular drill truck. But if you need those, you know where they are. Cheap, they seem to work. Happy with that purchase. I actually bought about 3 or 4 sets, because strangely enough, the little 0.2s tend to break on occasion when you're drilling hard materials, even polystyrene. So that's it. That's the mailbox roundup for the week. But I've got another thing to talk about today, and that's this, the Cyclops, what is it? Nova Cyclops OSD and return to launch system. I bought this. I splurged 130 bucks on this. because I thought it looks pretty cool. 130 bucks for an OSD and a return to launch, that's not a bad price. And I thought, well, my readers will certainly, or viewers will certainly be interested in seeing how this little baby performs. I read a bit about it on the internet, and some people seem happy with it, some not so happy. So I thought, well, maybe an objective critical review is required. So I ordered it, it arrived, it's been sitting here for a few weeks, and I finally got around to actually hooking it up on Saturday. Put it in a plane, hooked it up, the damn thing doesn't work. And before I get a whole raft of emails saying, oh, no, you've got to reverse the wires on here because the documentation's wrong on this side, I knew that. And I plugged it in the right way, not the documented way, right way, you know, the updated way. Still didn't work. And this little OSD chip here gets really, really hot. So hot you can't put your finger on it almost. So I think that chip's buggered. I mean, sorry, it's faulty. So that chip is no good. The OSD itself obviously then doesn't work. I can't use it, I can't test it, I can't review it. Dud out of the box. So it's not a good look really. And having already spent 130 bucks, I could send this back for a warranty replacement. That's going to cost me 40 bucks to ship this with a track and trace back to China to the shop I bought it from. And I'm not going to spend 40 bucks on top of 130 bucks I've already spent, because that makes it a $170 OSD. And I'm not spending good money after bad. And to be totally honest, I looked at it a little bit more closely, a little more objectively. And I don't know that it's really such good value anyway, although I'd love to be proved wrong. So the people who make the Nova OSD and return to launch, if you're watching this video, then send me a replacement board and I will review it. But I'll just give you a few thoughts about what I figured here, is that it uses these thermopiles. Now these are little infrared sensors to detect the horizon, and this is 1990s technology. FMA were using this on their Copilot way back at, you know, turn of the century stuff. And they work. They work if you've got a nice sunny day and you've got a level horizon. These are pretty damn good. They work pretty well. But if you get a cloudy day or a foggy day, they're useless. Really, they're quite useless, because they rely on the difference in temperature between the sky up there and the ground down there. And if there's a whole lot of fog and mist and drizzle around, you can't really see much of a difference. So you don't get much self-leveling, which means that your return to launch might throw you into a spiral dive instead of a nice smooth turn. So yeah, in that respect, this is pretty old tech. And then looking more at the build quality and things, I mean, I looked at this GPS receiver, nice tiny little GPS receiver, but what were they thinking when they made up this wiring loom? It's single strand, copper, enamel covered. This is 1950s technology. I mean, it's stiff, it will break with vibration. If you've got any vibration, eventually these wires will break. And it doesn't have to be like that. They could use a nice ribbon cable, flexible ribbon cable. They don't have to use this crappy old wire. I mean, that's ridiculous. And then of course there's the fact that they mislabeled the connectors, sent out a whole lot of documentation, systems out with documentation with faulty documentation, which would have thrown a whole lot of people astray. Who did they get to check their documentation? Nobody. And finally, of course, there's a bug with the current sensor, and there's a firmware update now, but you've got to reprogram the damn thing. And if you didn't buy it from, I think Bev RC offered to send out free programmers to people that bought these, but if you bought it somewhere else, then you've got to go and spend another $8 to $9 on a plus postage on a programmer just to get it to do what it was supposed to do in the first place. So I'm sorry, unless they want to send me a replacement one, which I will review completely objectively, this goes in the rubbish. And I say, you know, maybe they work, maybe they don't. There's contrary reviews on the internet. I'm never going to know unless they send me a new board. So end of the Cyclops Nova OSD review, I'm afraid, folks. And that's it for another week of Not So Weekly news. I thank you for watching, and I'm going outside now to do a whole lot of other new cool reviews that you'll be able to see on the channel very shortly. So thank you. Oh, before I go, just about forgot, little footnote, I have a new computer for rendering up my videos, because you notice there wasn't much on the channel last week because my two computers, the one I used to access the internet and do my email and all that other stuff, that broke, and so did the one I used to do my rendering. And I have two computers because I use different operating systems. To do the rendering, I have to use Windows because I use Sony Vegas and it only runs under Windows. And to do my internet stuff, you know, email and all that stuff, I use Linux because it's a lot more secure and it's actually a lot safer. And actually, it works a whole lot better, to be totally honest. So both computers failed at once, left me almost completely untouchable. Had to use the wife's notebook to just even leave messages in the forums. So, but fortunately, I have two new computers now. Someone gave me one, nice chap donated a computer for the rendering, and I went out and had to spend a fairly large whack of the camera budget as it stood on a new computer for the internet access. But suffice to say, all up to speed now, things should happen much more quickly. But of course, unfortunately, until they get a new camera, that's still a bottleneck because it uses tape. And every hour of video requires an hour to download onto the computer. It doesn't have little cards. You could actually play the tape. Oh, it's really antique, but it works. So thank you for watching. I'm going now. Get on with these other reviews. Bye.